again, and welcome one and all to the Easy Allies Xbox Games Showcase Betting Special Results Show. We are your hosts. I am here with the one and only Michael P. Huber.
Greetings, Don. How are you feeling on this fine day?
Feeling good. I'm here at my little getaway, safe several hundred miles off the shore of the continental states, as it were, just south of Montserrat. So I'm ready to settle up some bets from my quantum of solace, Huber.
Let's do it. Let's divvy out the bucks.
As you know, Huber and I are split up into teams here. This is a competition. They brought their winnings from the PlayStation special, and they blew all their Don bucks on the Xbox special, hoping to multiply their dollars. However, there was one exception to this.
Frugal Mr. Bloodworth hanging on to a cool 300. Remember, he came in with a short stack, so this was his strategy. Let's see if it pays off for him, Don.
All right, Huber, and as you know, we've got these high stakes also on the line for whoever's team ends up winning, either Huber or myself. We're going to have to open up these high stakes, and the loser is going to have to pay up. Now, before we get right to the action, there's one last thing so that everyone understands how these payouts work, okay? Now, let's see. What we do is if it's a 2-to-1 odds payout, okay, we return the amount of the wager on top of the payoff, okay? So if someone bets $100 on a 2-to-1, they get $200 as a payout, and they get $100 as their original bet. So in that instance, they would get $300 on a 2-to-1, just so everyone understands. Does that make sense?
It does make sense. Your generosity, Don, never ceases to amaze me. Absolutely friendly betting circumstances with our contestants.
I tend to agree. You know, we gave out a lot of Don bucks on the last PlayStation special. Let's see if we can pull back any of that in this one.
A Halo Infinite demo or beta will be announced. We had a lot of action on this. It was low odds, but pay attention to this word right here. Demo. This to me is a lock. This to me is them announcing a demo of the game that they played. Nowhere in the language was it going to be released to the public or that we were going to play it. This is a Halo Infinite demo. The words do not lie.
I tend to agree 100%. And who knows, if this thing would have gone off better, if it would have played better to the audience, this might have been a demo they would have been releasing in the near future. They
absolutely
certainly probably will not at this point. Would you agree?
I agree.
How did our participants get involved here? Looks like almost everyone but Jones laid something on the line here at 2-to-1 odds, but it paid off pretty good for some of them, didn't it?
Absolutely. You know, not enough action for Brandon Jones. He was sitting this one out. But Damiani now with the early lead at 1,500 and Brad right behind.
Next up, we will see Xbox controllers being used in someone's hands, Michael, and boy, did we.
We saw so many controllers, my hands were shaking.
It was an unbelievable display, kind of a feel-good moment during this Tetris presentation with everyone playing from home connected. And you are right, we actually absolutely saw dozens upon dozens of controllers being used. And everyone got in on this one as well with big Don bucks. Look at this now. Boom. Look at those three, even at 3-to-1 Jones.
Brandon Jones going hard on this bet.
Unquestionably the bet of the show, 1,000 Don bucks, and it pays off for him. He's walking away with 4,000 big ones. Holy smokes.
It was an excellent strategy from Mr. Jones here, going with a pretty sure bet using an Xbox controller. The odds were in his favor, and he capitalized big time. Phil Spencer will take a seat. You know, Don, the contestants were not biting on this bet
Yeah, no one getting fooled. Damiani and Ian just going out there a little bit, which you got to respect, saying, hey, why not? Maybe something unusual will happen. But I think right out of the gate, we saw Phil in front of this sort of virtual background, and I smelt trouble big time for anyone that was involved in this. It didn't look like it was going to happen.
No, he was standing there, standing his ground, intimidation, no seats taken.
Moving on, Battletoads. This was a really exciting one. People don't know when this is going to happen. Will it become available within 24 hours of the show ending? It would have been an unusual place for it to rear its head, we thought. That's why we got these 7-to-1 odds, which few people got on board.
Couple feeler bets again from Ian and Blood. Ben thinking with his heart and his soul. You can't get mad at that.
I love it.
But Battletoads failed to reveal itself, and its fate remains unknown. Another bet close to my heart, Don.
Oh, yes.
Batarangs, Keely's got a Batarang taunting us every time he does a podcast. We've heard rumors, leaks. Batman and Batarangs are on the mind. A Batarang will be thrown.
Keely again, you're saying, is this foreshadowing that he's posing in the pre-show it was, right, Michael? He had it on his desk there. And I thought right when I saw that, I got goosebumps. I said, something's going to happen here today. And a lot of people bet on this happening, but ultimately it did not come through, did it?
No, the 7-to-1 odds too, potential huge payout. Once again, my man Ben Moore betting with the hope and the hype, laying 300 down. It didn't pay off.
Okay, now this is a fun one. This is what this event kind of became all about. We got all these wild prop bets, out on the line, fantastic opportunities, and this was another one of them. Joanna Dark will reveal herself. Could it possibly happen? At first we thought it was impossible, and she got pretty high odds of 8-to-1, but then a couple of contestants called it out. She could be a figure on a desk. She could be on a poster, and suddenly my eyes were darting around the frame. Every time we got to one of these offices, I'm looking around trying to find Joanna Dark. Any sign of her in the special, Huber?
No signs of her. She is incognito, waiting it out until her big comeback. I love Brandon Jones's enthusiasm because it is not only a bet of hope and a bet of dreams, but it was a logical one at that. Talking about figurines or promos or retrospectives, it just didn't pay out for him. We're filling up the bank, Don.
Yep, getting back above water, getting our heads above water again. I love it, Michael.
Yeah, it'll keep these shows afloat.
We might be able to produce another one of these suckers. We'll see how the rest of these bets shake out.
This next one, pretty tricky. A special edition console or controller of any kind will be shown. We see a lot of controllers, a lot of variety, maybe elites, maybe different faceplates, but as it stands, these are standard controllers. There was no other console reveals. It was just basic Xbox controllers, maybe with some of their own different kind of faceplates on there. Nothing special about a faceplate, though. Nothing really confirmed here. What do you think?
Yeah, we took a really close look at this, Michael, as you can see, and it was determined by the council that, custom colors, elite controller, that sort of thing would not qualify. But we said, hey, there's a lot of controllers here to look at. And we actually dug deep, we pulled out a guide that showed every custom controller ever created, and we looked at this stuff really close, but ultimately we could not find conclusive evidence that it was shown. And so some of these guys that went out on a big limb, they're gonna be gulping down the Pepto. I mean, we're looking at Brad here, 700 Don bucks.
Damiani with 600. Their logic was sound, Microsoft loves their special editions. Not today, though. Not today, Don.
Yeah, the bookies had 3-1. We thought this was probably going to happen, and these guys went in hard on it, but this is how it can happen sometimes. That's why we play the game, isn't it?
Absolutely, and our coffers just keep on getting fatter, Don.
Cha-ching, Huber. All right, this we all knew was a long shot coming right out of the gates, just sort of a something to stir up the pot a little bit. We didn't know how much belief there would be in this one, and that's why we just said, hey, let's put it out there, let's give it a 6-1, and let's see if anyone gets on board with Skyrim makes an appearance. What happened? A couple people did. The other contestants wanted no part of this bet, but Ian and Blood, getting a little bit of action here, didn't pay off. Mercifully, Skyrim did not show up. Who's to say it won't show up later down the line again? Yeah. But as of this episode, it was on a little timeout. Thank goodness. All right, Huber. Now let's go back real fast and take a look at, as you know, we've had a series of bets that haven't come through here, right? I mean, the good majorities of these things just didn't materialize for these competitors. So let's take a quick look back. Let's look at our totals of where we're at right now, okay? And this is how the layout is. What stands out to you so far? This is
Brandon Jones clearly standing out here, Don. He came in with a plan. He let it ride on one big bet, basically, and it paid off. Ride or die on one bet, and he's riding high.
Absolutely. You love to see this happen. He comes in, he puts it all or nothing, and all comes through for the man. And there he's laughing all the way to the bank so far at the top of the pack, pretty comfortably with a 500 Dombuck lead of Damiani. And that brings us to the final of the regular wagers. And could this possibly flip things around for our competitors? This was a fun one. This was the one I think everyone was looking for through the entire evening. Green light will burst through the Xbox X logo. Huge payoff opportunity at 9-1. This could be a game changer for anyone that got involved, and most everyone did with some serious Don bucks. Now, did we see anything like this come close? What do we see this show?
So we see these X's. This to me is not the Xbox logo. That is the Series X logo. There is a difference, kind of this checkered pattern here with these X's. Regardless, no green light shining through. As you can see right here, it's pretty close. The green light is shining through those circles, but when the Xbox logo slams down, it slams down, there's no green light at all.
There's nothing. Look at this transition. It comes down and there's green light, and you
look at that.
What happens to the green light on this transition?
Gone.
If only it could emerge through that hollow X. It's almost taunting us.
It is, Don. It's almost like Phil Spencer placed Don Buck bets of his own.
Counter bets,
and went in and photoshopped it out,
We can't confirm or deny the presence of anonymous bettors calling in by phone to place wagers, but if that's the case, it would be most curious. Now here, when I started seeing this with the lasers, I said something's gonna burst out of this X here. Gotta any second, but nothing. It looks like we just weren't gonna see it. And as you know, Sony came out with a whole bunch of fancy graphics in their program, so Xbox had to come back and go toe-to-toe, and they certainly did. But we just weren't seeing it. Now, here's what happened. We started getting evidence presented to us from the community. And as you know, we take any submissions very seriously. We look at it very closely. It was brought to our attention that white light was shown in several times filling the X-shaped cavity. And that white light, in fact, includes all colors of the spectrum, including green. Now, this is this is some science that can get you into some trouble in some back alleys, I think. Huber, am I right? I mean,
yeah, they bring up a good point here, but even white light wasn't shining through. It was just
burst.
empty space. There was no burst.
I tend to agree, and so it seemed like it was an open and shut case, and that this was a clear no green light. However, one more piece of evidence was then submitted by the community, which we had to take a little closer look at. Look at this. When the Series X disassembled, there was greenish light coming through the logo. So we had to take a look at this, and this became something too close for you and I to call on our own, didn't it?
Absolutely, Don. We tapped out here because it was getting too close. A lot of evidence coming through, a lot of tips.
Take a close look here, and
So we said, how do we deal with this? We send it to the council, and that is exactly what we did. What did they tell us, Don?
We put it forward to the council. Does this count? Does this qualify as green light bursting through the logo? They had it slowed down, zoomed in. They were analyzing it from every angle. And ultimately, I'll read you a quote that came from the council, a couple quotes, in fact. Here's the first
multiple
one.
Sources.
Multiple council members weighed in on this. Here's the first one. Sadly, no. The logo just vanishes to reveal the light behind it, or becomes the green light of the rest of the console. To me, for the light to burst through, the logo would have to remain somewhat intact. Okay, that's some of the thinking behind one of these council jury members. One more quote to illuminate some of their thinking. Green light does for a moment come through the logo. I think where it falls apart is burst. That's a fade, so that's a no.
That's a fade.
It's a fade, and with that fade, a lot of Don Bucks fade away from our competitors' billfold, don't they? Holy smokes.
Once again, Bloodworth somehow getting action on nearly every bet. Nice little feeler in there for 50 with the 9-1 odds.
Holy smokes.
Jones
This
went
would have, I can't even, I don't know if my calculator has enough digits on it to tabulate what Jones would have been walking away with on this. Oh my goodness, shudder. It makes me shudder to think, Huber.
Jones just unhinged, taking big swings, Don.
Huber, we didn't dodge a bullet on this one. We dodged a nuclear bomb because we would have been belly up. We move on now to the new boxed trifecta. Almost everyone got involved in this, right? The bet was pick from this list, pick your top 3 games that'll be shown first from this list, and you could win the payouts that go along with them. Almost everyone got involved, yes?
Yeah, everybody but Ben. Ben wanted no part of the trifectas. He was using his bets on hopes and dreams. But the other 5 contestants laid down some Don Bucks getting in on one or multiple trifectas. And our list was pretty expansive, with games from guarantees like Halo Infinite all the way down to dreams like Dead Rising and Dead Space.
The first one from this list to appear was in fact the very first trailer of the show. The countdown ended and the first shot opens up, and we know what it is, don't we?
Almost immediately we know Halo Infinite starting off the show. Microsoft bringing their big guns.
The big guns showed up right away. We see sort of Master Chief being assembled in some sort of way here. And so let's see who was in on a Halo Infinite with their trifecta.
Oh, Blood and Jones bow out there, but we still got Brad Damiani and Ian betting big on Halo.
Yeah, Blood and Jones both taking the understandable strategy that, everyone knows this game is going to be there. Why, waste any energy showing it first, leave it for maybe last, an expanded presentation, something. But no, I mean, it kind of had a 50-50 shot. I mean, that's why the odds were so low here, 450 payout on the lower end. But that's what they did. The predictable thing, they came out first thing with their big guns and they took a swing. Now let's see what was the next one from this list.
Next one is Forza, coming in with the prototype trailer, basically. Kind of a small little tease at the game, but it is enough to count for the trifecta. Forza, number 2. Who's standing?
Ian going in big with 2 trifecta bets, which I loved, but neither of them included the Forza, which was paying $5.50.
Yep, never bet against Gears, Halo, Forza, the old staple of Microsoft.
So what would close it out? We got Damiani and Brad both hoping they can cling to something here. And so what decided to be the third one from this list to show up?
No one saw it coming. Everwild showing up. We don't even know if that's the actual game, but again, it is enough to count for the trifecta. Everwild busting the trifectas, Don. That's got to feel good for you.
Feels great, Huber. I mean, everyone, it's like, hey, I want these guys to do well. I want them to win, but at the same time, everyone's got to eat, including you and I, Huber. So fortunately, because everyone's trifecta got busted out by Everwild, we're going to have a little bit of tuna left in our cans at the end of the night. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
That feels pretty good, I think. It should be noted, too, Huber. Look, a few of these dreams on this list did come through. I mean, the Medium came through at $750. Fable showed up at $800.
Psychonauts 2 and Hellblade 2 both made an appearance.
They both were there. So a lot of the stuff showed up here, but they weren't the first out of the gates, and that's what mattered here.
And lastly, my favorite part of the show, Dom, the long shot bets. Was on us a generous free long shot bet for all the contestants with a guaranteed 1,000 Don bucks payout. But looks like, once again, we're not paying out, Don.
Nothing doing there. And I'll tell you, Ben came close. He came so close he could taste it. But ultimately, the creative genital aspect of his wager, which he needed because he needed something to push it over the top. It couldn't just be Fable. But they didn't come through with the details that he needed for that to pay off for him. So that's it, Huber. Look at this. This is the final rundown. Jones, our new champion, taking the torch from Damiani, who was the champion of the PS5. These guys are going back and forth like a couple of territorial mountain goats out there.
Yes, just a heavyweight knockout fight. Jones and Damiani not backing down from one another. A huge lead on the rest of the pack. These two Goliaths are going to enter the finale with a nice, comfortable lead, Don.
I can't wait. Here we are. It all comes down to this. Let's look at our team totals, add up the numbers, and see who is paying out the high stakes. Holy folks, Huber, 8,400. I can't believe I snuck out with one of these again, but do you know why?
The 300 left on the table from Daniel Bloodworth.
That's what literally made the difference here. It's unbelievable. If shrewd Bloodworth, thank you, Bloodworth, he wouldn't have done what he did, you would have most certainly been opening up your envelope. But instead, Huber, thanks to my man Bloodworth, I'm going to pop this baby open, and I'm going to read you your fate.
You got to respect that strategy, Don.
What a
move. It paid off in dividends, the meaning of victory or defeat.
Here's what you're going to have to do, Huber. Write and perform another deleted scene from Batman Returns.
So 2 deleted scenes now from Batman Returns of my choosing.
Yes,
whichever scenes.
You've got a lot of characters to choose from. You've got Max Shrek. Okay, Selena Kyle, Catwoman. I mean, this could come before the opening credits. This could be a post-credit scene. You've got the Penguins. You've got the Red Triangle Circus Gang.
I'm a sucker for a good post-credits tease, Don.
Huber, I'm so pumped up about this. I cannot wait to add to the masterpiece that already is Batman Returns. This will be paid off as well when we return to the studio, so all the allies can have their laps filled with popcorn and red vines when they watch the show. Well, thank you so much, Huber. Until next time.
Thanks so much, Don. Our coffers remain pretty full, and all of the contestants had a nice little nest egg of their own, so it's been an absolute pleasure.
Feels great. Everyone can walk away from this one with a smile on their face, Huber. I can't wait till the next one.
You're absolutely right, Don. Part 3 of the trilogy. Will I get some measure of redemption? We can only find out next time.
Oh, yes.